Hello, and welcome to day 3 of the Sovereign Business Accelerator Open House. I want to invite you to just take a breath. Find your feet on the ground, move your body from side to side, maybe engage in just a little bit of a sway. One leg into the other leg. Just shifting your weight, looking around the room. Maybe shake yourself out. Make a sound. Before I got on the call, I was dancing and moving my body because I had sort of a challenging evening with my kids. And so I was in the residue of that. And so wanting to really shake it out and get myself ready to be fully present and here with you and feel like calm. And yeah, so that's part of the work that happens behind the scenes in any business, especially my business, where where presence is really, really important. So just to introduce myself again, I'm Isabella. I am a trauma psychologist, certified somatic practitioner, and energy witch, and I help revolutionary healers and witchy entrepreneurs build human-centered businesses that support their brain, body, and bank account. And that's exactly what we're getting in today. We're going to get into the nervous system capacitation work that really helps you receive the blessings that are meant for you, right? That are your birthright, and to be able to hold increasing amounts of abundance, right? Whether that is cash, whether that's collabs, attention, any type of prosperity, right? I'm not going to just center on money, even though that's what most people are interested in, that's what motivates a lot of people. It really is so much bigger than that for me. So I'm going to share my screen so that y'all can see the slides that I have prepared. I just have to move this down so that I can see Canva. There we go. I have many, many tabs open. All right, present. Okay, present full screen. Okay. Yes. So our intention here is to run a successful, satisfying business that honors your mission, your values, and your whole human self, right? Because it's like, a business has to feel good on the front end. We have to build strategies that work for us and that feel good to us, that feel aligned. And also, like off the moments of social media, your business has to feel good for you too, i.e. you're not burning out, you're not doing it from a place of hustle mode, you feel centered, you feel like a sense of confidence in what you're doing and like drive, like a healthy drive towards your mission. So what we're getting into day 3 is we're going to do 3 embodiment practices that help build safety in your business. We're going to talk a little bit about nervous system in your business. We're going to talk about the 5 pillars of nervous system capacitation. And I have another training in the featured section that is just about the 5 pillars. So I'm not going to go into them very deeply. If you want to go deeper, you can go into that training that's available. We're going to do sort of an easy mindset practice and 2 embodiment practice, and then talk about like less common ways to build safety in your business that not nobody, but few people talk about. All right. So everything in your business is built from a place of safety and trust, right? Like your creativity, your creative flow, your messaging, your social media appearance, energy comes from a place of safety and trust, right? This sense of deeper knowing. it can be intuition, but it also is about like trusting that you'll be okay. And in saying whatever you need to say, all of that stuff, how you express yourself online, how much yourself you're willing to be in terms of like controversial topics or sharing some more vulnerable aspects of your humanity, and how you share and how often you share your offer, right? So all of this can feel really vulnerable and exposing to your nervous system because, you know, your nervous system is designed to keep you safe. It is designed to blend in. So unless your parasympathetic mode, your like rest and digest is activated, your nervous system is constantly assessing for safety, and it's healthy, right? It's like, it's meant to keep you alive. But oftentimes, or actually business, especially an online business, requires that you put yourself out in the world, which feels emotionally unsafe to your system. And I just did a whole podcast episode about safety in your business and relationships that may be good to hear. I'll share it when it comes out. But, you know, the internet is a busy street, and you have to stand out, and not in a see-me kind of showy way, but I really trust that, you know, we all have our unique leadership, right? I don't think of leadership as a hierarchical thing. I really think of it as like each person has their very specific voice, informed by their very specific life experiences, right? And their way of expression that attracts the people to you that are meant to work with you. So that is what we're working on, right? That's what sometimes feels unsafe, is like just being you, right? We don't grow up in ways, typically speaking, where we feel safe to be fully ourselves, to really show, you know, the internet world, the really like big world, who we are. So, you know, it is your quirkiness, your shadow, perhaps even letting that be seen, your passion and your heart, all of those aspects. So you're basically allowing your inner culture to be on display, right? And it's allowing yourself to be seen and heard so that people can see themselves in you. I've had people reach out to me and say, I want to work with you because I know that you've been through this process and I know that you can guide me through it, right? And it's because I shared my story of having had a really awful marriage and having to get out of it and experiencing PTSD and getting sick and all of these pieces, right? So those are things that are important to share, but that can feel uncomfortable to share. And that's often how you make a connection to your people. So I don't know of a single person who isn't afraid of rejection and abandonment. I just want to like normalize that. I experience it as well still, you know, not as heightened as I did before, but it's something that's still like, it still comes up. I still feel like that hesitation in my body at times when I'm like wanting to write something. So, you know, this is totally normal. You don't have to be like healed to be successful in business. That's not a thing. You just need how to work your shit internally so that you can sort of move the energy and transform it. And obviously, you know, nervous system capacitation and energetics are important because they're what backs the strategy, whatever business strategy that you have chosen to go with that feels aligned and good to you. And obviously nervous system capacitation is just, I think of it as a container, right? Like the bigger your nervous system capacitation, the more of yourself you can hold, the more life experience you can hold, the more cash you can hold, right? Attention, like energy. It really is just about opening up to more energy and allowing yourself to receive. That's why it's important. And that is my special sauce, right? So the 5 pillars of nervous system capacitation, and again, I went into these in more detail in the training that I did, I think in November, I believe. Yeah. So this is what I understand in my experience as the 5 pillars of nervous system capacitation. So this is the focus of all of the work that I do. it involves mindset. A lot of coaching that you see out there just focus on mindset. And I really feel like there's an override process that happens when you only do mindset work. There is also the emotional fluency piece. So from the mindset perspective, right, it is about really curating your thoughts and being able to sort through what is yours and what isn't yours. Like, for example, curating thoughts to align with your mission and vision, and sort of like dumping in whatever way, like through journaling or other, like a movement practice, thoughts that you know have to do with your history, or are part of like collective conditioning of like, oh, you can't show up in this way, or or our intimacy wounds, like, oh, nobody wants to hear that, or you're being annoying, right? All of those thoughts, sorting them out on a daily basis to keep your mindset in alignment with what you're doing, with your mission. And deciding, a lot of mindset is really a decision of how you're going to show up. The emotional fluency piece for me is really like tuning into your body, tuning into what I need emotionally. On some days, it's just stillness. Some days I just need a lot of support from my coaches or my friends. Sometimes I need to grieve and cry. Sometimes I need to feel my fear. And the point is to feel it all the way through, to really move the energy through your body, because a lot of times what I have found, when you start doing mindset work, when you start aligning with, let's call it the higher self, right? Or the core self, what begins to happen is that mindset works its way down and all of the sludge comes up, right? The old belief systems. When you start inputting a new program, all of the old programming is gonna like, your body's gonna start rejecting it. And that's where the emotional fluency piece is so important, because you want to vomit that out. You want to like, you want to work that out of your body. We're going to do some of that today. So you want to be noticing and tracking what you feel so that you can, like, okay, so how do I need to work this? Do I need to move some energy? Do I need to have a good cry? Do I need a bathtub? Do I need to take a walk? It's so that you know what you need from moment to moment in the behind the scenes aspect of your business. So the identity, this is all sort of, think of it as a Venn diagram where they're all sort of like touching each other and overlapping. So the identity piece is what I just talked about, like dismantling internalized systems of disempowerment. And when I say internalized, a lot of these stories are in our bodies. They're embedded in our nervous systems. So when you're doing nervous system work, it really is about like letting that energy move, doing shadow work, right? Thinking about or exploring the ways that you maintain your smallness, where you maintain, or you're attached rather, to limitation versus expansion. And yes, we are all like, we all have our real limitations because we're human, and there is a limitless like capacity, or we have a lot more capacity than we actually access, because we have our stories, right? We have our like, right, our contractions. And the identity work for me is also like the very deep intimacy healing, like healing the wounds of abandonment and rejection and, all the attachment stuff that gets in the way, or that sort of runs in the background of your business, just in the same way it runs in the background of your relationships. So then the fourth piece is boundaries, right? We often, especially when I think about sovereignty and being in business, not from a place of burnout or hustle or overwhelm, you have to be attuning to your own energy signature, right? So this is practicing energy hygiene, energetic stewardship, which is really like managing your energy, attuning to your emotional, physical, spiritual needs. And when you take care of your energy, when you're a good steward, when you decide I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do that, that builds self-trust, because when we push past our boundaries, self-trust erodes in our body, right? Then we're not a trustworthy steward of our energy. Our body's going to be like, So this is really, really, the boundary piece, the energetic boundary piece is really, really important. And finally, pleasure. So pleasure is several things. Pleasure serves to create safety by soothing a jangled nervous system. Let's say you've taken a risk and you've written a post, or you've put yourself out there in ways that feel really edgy and uncomfortable, like you're at that really healthy discomfort. That is when you want to be soothing your nervous system, right? You want to be grounding yourself. You're wanting to be like connecting with your body so that you can calm your nervous system and regulate, right? And that is part of the expansion process, is leaning into that discomfort and then also soothing yourself back into regulation. That is the process. That's what the process looks like. Pleasure is also about embodying abundant models of being. What that means is, and again, we're going to do these practices. It's also about embracing celebration and appreciation of yourself. It's bragging how you're showing up, bragging your courage, saying yes to yourself, because our brains often, they tend to focus on what's wrong, what needs to be improved. And this is partly, part of our survival brain. This is partly conditioning. And so we're doing a shifting into a thriving mode, both in brain and body. Okay, so let's move on to the practices. Okay, so when I launched my one-on-one legacy program, I taught a class on intimacy wounds that come up for people. And again, you can find that there's a lot more detail in some of the previous trainings. So if you're not part of the Facebook community, you can look it up on my YouTube channel. So again, embodying abundance. I always invite you to use the Facebook group as a place to brag and celebrate and shift into your winning, right? So, and have other people witness that. There's something very, very powerful about that process. And we often kind of we gloss over it because we do it one time and then it's like, okay, well, that was great. But it's about the consistency of that practice. When you do it often enough, it really begins to work at your root chakra and work its way up. So I want you to now, in the comments, as you're watching this, whether it's live or on the replay, I want you to celebrate. I want to know what you are celebrating in your business today. Or maybe you just want to share a general celebration. So I invite you to do that right now. Yeah. Things you're grateful for. Yeah, I'd love to see them. I think that they're really empowering to read. And then we remember oh yeah, I'm celebrating that too. So it really is it's like spreading the good. Okay, so let's get into mindset. Yeah. So I have this method called the sandwich method, and I've learned this. It's adapted from Julia Wells, who I've learned a lot from, and Carolyn Elliott, who wrote Existential Kink, who does a lot of shadow work, but differently than how I do it. So you start with, this is a journaling practice. Sometimes you can do it in your head. You can do it on a voice recorder. Start with celebrations, things that you're grateful for. And you can also write things that you desire, just so that you can keep your eyes on the goal, on the vision, on the bigger picture, because we often get lost. When we don't have our eyes on the prize, we sort of lose sight of it. We can get overwhelmed in the minutia of day to day. So the second piece is, I want you to, right now, just take a moment, if you want to write it down right now, do so, but we're just going to invite you also to do it in your brain, in your imagination. So I want you to imagine yourself having what you desire. Okay, maybe you close your eyes or lower your gaze. Having what you desire. And I want you to see what comes up in your body when you have all the things you desire. And take a breath, let yourself feel into it a little bit deeper. And notice where fear and doubt is coming up. And sometimes you can notice it in your nervous system as you track sensation. You can notice yourself sort of pulling back a little bit and going, ooh, that's kind of big. You just notice that slight pulling back of your energy, or the little tightening or contraction in your nervous system. And you want to answer the questions, whether for yourself or writing them down. What am I scared is going to happen? What am I scared? What am I scared of? Or what am I scared is going to happen? Sorry, I just lost capacity for the English language there. What am I scared is going to happen? Right? When I did this exercise, it was always about rejection. It would always like, oh, I'm afraid that I'm going to get canceled. Or I'm afraid that people are going to hate it. Or I'm afraid that nobody's going to want it. Or I'm afraid, right? Like, and it was always in the same theme, right? When you dig deeper, I want you to go deeper on these. Like you say, oh, I'm afraid that people are going to unfollow me. Okay, well, then what happens next? Okay, so people unfollow you and then they talk badly to their friends about you. Okay, then what happens next? I like lose my reputation. My reputation is shot. I have to give up my business. It's over. Okay, then what happens next? And usually what happens next is that you survive somehow, right? Even if the scenario that I'm talking about right now, okay, so your reputation is ruined and you have to reinvent yourself. Okay, so you have to reinvent yourself. Are you going to be able to do it? Yeah, probably, because the alternative is what? Dying? You're not going to do that. You're not going to die. So the final step is reframing each fear and doubt. And what would you do if it actually happened? Well, if it actually happened, I would take these steps, right? So your body is making catastrophic things that aren't catastrophic. And we have to be able to tell the difference, right? That's sort of the nervous system discernment work. And you want to finish this exercise, like after you've gone through all the steps of what you would do if it actually happened. And it's very grounding to do this, because you're going to see, if you do this over time, you're going to see the same fears come up and you're going to be like, oh, hi, there you are again. And then you see, as you go through the worst case scenario and what you would do if it actually happened, you're like, okay, it's not the end of the world. I would still survive. And that is basically a mindset resilience practice. And you finish up with 3 to 5 beliefs that are going to guide your day based on all of this stuff that's like the muck that's coming up in the moment. You're like, okay, well, today I am willing to be rejected. I am willing to take a risk, or I am willing to put myself out there, right? Or it can be just a belief like people need to hear from me, or I have more money than I can spend, or the universe is my algorithm, whatever it happens to be. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. That's the sandwich method. And now we're going to get into the embodiment practice. And I love this, because this is about rewiring your body. So this is kinking out on your fears. A lot of us feel fear, working in business is working with fear and doubt. Fear, doubt, guilt, right? All of that stuff. You have a fear of vulnerability. We fear rejection. We fear abandonment. And all of these things often put us in avoidance. We hide, we shrink, we pull back our energy, right? We shut down. Whatever your preferred protective mechanism is, that's what you do. And what this practice does is it pours pleasure. It pours sort of a different energy onto the fear, and it unfreezes and rewires the body, right? By combining pleasure with fear, your nervous system is like, what is going on? And it confuses it. And it's kind of like, oh, this is kind of fun. So you learn to kink out on your fear. It becomes less dire in your nervous system. Okay. So there's less of a charge. So I want you to go back, remember what you wrote about in your fear journaling, or if you did it in your head, what were the fears that came up? Right? Think about whether it's like, oh, I'm going to get canceled, or it's over. I'm going to have to like, you know, I don't know, reinvent myself, blah, blah, blah. Right? Think about what you wrote. And I'm starting to move my hips a little bit. Okay. So what you're going to want to do then is express your willingness. Like, I am willing to be a fool for my mission. I am willing to be rejected when I reach out to somebody in their PMs and invite them to work with me. I am willing to be abandoned for something that I believe in. I am willing to get told off or called out for being annoying. I am willing, right? And so you go on and on. I am willing to lose followers because I am so behind what I believe in. I am willing to stand alone because my belief system runs counter to what most people believe. I am willing to put myself out there and look like an idiot. I am willing to live my best life, even if it means I lose friends who aren't willing to take the same risks I did, right? All right. So how is this feeling? How is this feeling so far? That I am willing to do the thing that I fear to do. I'm willing to expose myself to my fears. I want to know how this is feeling in your body. I'm feeling like a tingle in my lower belly. Woo! Yeah, see, I'm already feeling like the bubble, right? The bubble of my body going, what? You're willing to do what? Yeah. So what you're wanting to do now is you're wanting to kink out of it. The next step is kinking out. So what that looks like is you're wanting to shower it with approval, radical approval. You're going to say yes to it. Like, I'm so adorable. You're giving energy, right? Approval, adoration energy. I am so cute when I doubt my genius. Yes. I'm so adorable when I question myself. When I go around in circles and like doubt the fact that I've had like, 11 years of freaking training. Yeah. Yeah. I am so cute when I hide. I think it's so adorable when I try to sabotage myself because I feel like I think I can't handle it. Yes. I am so adorable when I think I don't know things. Yeah. It's really cute. Move your hips from side to side. Move your hips in a circle, like really get into your root, into your feet, let your legs do most of the work here. Yeah. I am so fucking cute when I get into the energy of thinking that I'm never going to make it. Yeah. Yeah. So adorable. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just really cute when I feel like I can't be myself and that people are going to hate me for being me. Yeah. Feeling a more tender part there. Yeah. You want to be breathing and moving as you say these things and really sending the energy of approval to where you feel the fear in your body. And of course, there's different depths of like our intimacy wounds. this kink practice is great for something that's like more on the surface, that isn't as deep, because trauma has levels. And this is good for when something doesn't have such a big charge. But when something has a bigger charge, you're going to want to do what I call my embodied relational presencing, and it's an attunement practice. So what you're going to do here is you're going to want to feel into, like, the first step is always to sense into what's happening in your body. Like, almost you want to like look inside of your body with your intuition or your internal gaze. And you want to be feeling into, what are the sensations that are here? What am I tracking? Something is here, and you locate it, right? That's the attunement process. And then the second step is relate. So you want to just send it some breath, just give it some spaciousness. And then you want to notice your relationship to the part of yourself that is really invested in hiding, right? Or in not putting yourself out there, for example, just to use that as an example today. You want to go to it, and you want to ask it what it needs, right? And oftentimes it just, like this part in myself, it just wants to be safe. It doesn't want the responsibility. Yeah, sometimes it feels really good to hide, right? And it's like, oh, then I don't ever have to be responsible, and then I don't ever have to do anything, right? It's sort of made up a story about hiding being safe, and that I can still, like, the story, the real story is that I can have a thriving business, and I can be out there in the world and still have privacy, still have like moments to myself, still feel like I have that. I can still hide on days and hibernate. I don't have to be out there all the time. I don't have to have that responsibility if I don't want it to. And I can shape my business any way I want, right? So as you notice your relationship with it, and as you ask it what it needs, you want to respond. The third step is responding. You want to let that part know that it's safe, and that you're going to really take care of it, and you're going to make sure that it doesn't get overwhelmed, right? So you're offering it a lot of kindness and presence. And maybe it is in a bigger process. We worked one-on-one, for example, or in a group format, I might invite you to speak from the place, speak from that, from that sensation that is coming up. What would that part of you say if it wanted to like come out, if it had a voice? What would it say? What does it need to say, right? And then you respond to it again. And the final step is alignment. Like, now that you've gone through this attunement and relation and respond process, you want to, okay, so now that we've moved this energy, what's the next aligned step, right? Because all business is like the sustainable business is like, okay, well, what's next? What feels really aligned? Okay, well, this next step means that, yeah, maybe it is time to post, or maybe it is time to just take a break today, right? Or, when you think about the bigger vision of your business, what are you deciding to do today? From where are you making that decision? Are you making it from a place of fear, or are you making it from a place of like, that attuned parent, or the divine mother, or the higher self, that's the person that you want making the decisions in your business? Or maybe it's 23K Isha, or whatever alter ego that you have decided is the person that really runs the ship of your business, runs the mission. Okay, so I hope those were helpful. I think those are fun, and they've also gotten me, the attunement process has gotten me through really, really challenging times, personally and professionally. So that, even though I sort of went through it in a quicker way, it is really a beautiful, beautiful process that helps actually heal some of these deeper wounds that we have, and again, builds nervous system capacity. So to sort of close out today, I want to talk about other ways to create safety in your business. So one of them is structure, right? Even though I'm an energetics person, I am very much about the balance between the being and the doing, right? They're like, people talk about masculine and feminine. I just hate that terminology. For me, it is about, active and receptive. So the structure and the back-end systems and the ways you can automate your business are part of what creates safety. As part of this, I used to do launches without structure, and it was hurting my nervous system because I would be very spontaneous and I would decide like on a whim, I'm going to launch this. And that was really fun and great. But now I have systems set up way ahead of time. So my launches are really nice so that I'm not under a time pressure. For example, this is going to be like a 6-week, content creation, content banking, invitations. And that's really nice because I can take breaks in between. I have time to write emails. I have time to be creative, right? And even coming up to this training, I had the PowerPoint set up. I had my automation set up that sent reminders to you every day. That was all set up way ahead of time. So I wasn't scrambling. So another way to create safety in your business is recurring payment plans. So, I think this is pretty common knowledge now, but steady income, you can do that by having recurrent payment plans. And actually recurrent payment plans help you sort of map out what your salary is going to be for the next couple of months and what you may want to launch based on how much money is coming in. So it gives a little bit of predictability versus having, a 17K launch and then having like nothing for the next 3 months. With everybody paying in full, for example, that doesn't often happen, but it just gives you a sense of like what's coming in and how to manage your income. So something that a lot of people don't talk about that I feel like is really, really important to say is that a lot of the really big people that you see out there, like pretty well-known coaches, have other streams of income. People have invested in real estate. People, so there's money coming in from rentals, for example, or from Airbnbs. So, or they have a part-time job or a full-time job that they're running alongside their coaching business. And this obviously helps with cash flow, feeling a sense of stability and safety, because when you're feeling like you're, I think of energy or money as energy, but money is also very real and tangible. And so I don't ever want to dismiss that. When you're feeling like your basic needs are not met, it is really hard to be in the creative flow. It is really hard to offer your programs from a place of, just, without the attachment, because you're going to be like, I'm so desperate to make a sale. And that's going to come across in your energy, in your writing. So you want to make sure that you are backed up either with another job or with other streams of income. Maybe you have an offer that you don't launch. It's something that people can go to your website. There's an invitation page. It's like a short term, like a 4-week thing or a three session course that people can buy for maybe like, I don't know, $50, $100 or $200. So like, that there's money coming in. My business is both online and offline. Like, yes, I have my online component, but I also have clients coming in that I don't have to make offers to, right? Yes, they come on to curiosity calls and we meet each other and we decide whether it's a good fit, but I don't have to go looking for them. I don't have to invite them in. My Psychology Today page is enough. And then I also have income coming in from my financial advising business. So that is really like, it really protects me because, as I have shared before, like we may not be in a recession. We may or may not be in the winter season of coaching. you want to diversify your income, just like Rihanna or whoever else is famous diversifies their income too. They're not just putting it into music, they put it into makeup, they put it into clothing, they put it into different things. That is just smart. And as we talk about the planning aspect, just kind of building some security, financial planning is also another way to create more safety in your business. For example, you want to protect your income from Uncle Sam, from taxation, right? You want to be putting it into Roth IRAs, even though what you can put into it isn't that high. You can also put it into college funds or SEP IRAs, where you can put a higher amount. That is not, SEP IRAs aren't tax protected, but you get the idea. You want to be protecting your wealth, you want to be preserving your wealth, and you want to be growing your wealth. Something that you can be working on ongoing is building your emergency fund. You want to have like at least 6 months worth of income socked away somewhere. And you can do this like incrementally over time. Like maybe you take out $200 a month just to put into that bucket. You may have universal indexed life insurance, and that offers living benefits, right? So that is another way to protect your family in case of some, disability insurance. All of those things really protect your business. And the IUL is investing in indexed solutions, right? So they're in the stock market, but they have a special like status where you are protected from market loss, right? If there's a loss in the market, your money isn't affected by that. And you can still benefit from the gains if the market goes up. So that is it for today. I want to thank you for being here if you were live, and I want to thank you if you are here on the replay. Let me know. And I want to know what your biggest takeaway from today was. And what do you feel like? What landed for you that you're going to be implementing this month, or like thinking about how to integrate that in your business? I'm really excited to hear your comments, your questions, and also hear maybe things that I didn't share, right? Things that are important that I didn't share. So I'd be really interested in hearing that too. I'm so excited for tomorrow because we're going to talk a little bit more about money and trauma. And tomorrow's the last day of the training. And then Friday, we have the live Q&A. And that's not going to be streamed live. That is just going to be on Zoom. So it's going to be more like a little bit of a private space for us to like chat. Okay. Love you all, and see you soon.